Tim, where on earth do we stand now? Where does the Prime Minister's authority lie?
I think there's very little authority left, I'm afraid, Tom. You've been speaking to Conservative MPs like I have. And I think, when neighbours and family and friends who don't normally talk about politics start talking to their MPs, start talking to people like yourself about politics, an issue has broken through. This issue has done more than break through with voters. I think people are generally frightened for their mortgages and for their pensions. And I think it's that extent of breakthrough with the public that's alarmed Conservative MPs so much. And it means the Prime Minister's authority is in such bad measure.
Remarkable, of course, because Number 10 can quite rightly point to other countries where interest rates are higher, the United States particularly, partly the reason why the dollar is doing so well against all other currencies right now. But to some extent, those rational arguments don't really matter because there's been almost a new consensus formed, almost in a funny sort of parallel way to when the former Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, said, when the herd moves, it moves. It seems like the herd has almost made up its mind on the issue of the economy. The Chancellor, of course, flying back this morning, landing in about an hour's time. What can he do?
I don't know whether it's his choice anymore, Tom. It seems to me that a lot of the decisions have been taken while he's been away in Washington at the IMF. I think there is such panic in Westminster amongst Conservative MPs that while he's been at the IMF meetings, the Prime Minister and advisors, people in the Treasury, have been preparing this cut, this reversed position on the cut in corporation tax. And I think that measure is now so priced into markets that if they don't actually now make the U-turn to corporation tax, we'll see another big incident in the markets and further necessary intervention by the Bank of England to stabilise things.
Quite bonkers as a situation. But let's go to the politics of this, because we're hearing rumours that Rishi Sunak and Penny Mordaunt are being lined up as some sort of coronation to replace Liz Truss without a leadership election. It would be the most remarkable coup, some might say, especially after 160,000 members made their votes known just a few weeks ago. As the founder of the Conservative Home website, the voice of the Conservative membership, what might be the implications of Conservative MPs riding roughshod over the views and voices of their membership?
Well, one of my proudest achievements, Tom, in politics was when Michael Howard tried to take away the vote of Tory members, the then website that you mentioned earlier, Conservative Home, which I ran. It was our first campaign, was to keep the votes of Tory members. So look, I'm incredibly attached to Tory members having a vote. And there will be many Tory members who will be furious if the scenario that you just set out does happen. But I think there are many Tory members also who are very aware that in a crisis situation, you have to act in a way that's proportionate to that crisis. And I don't think a coronation necessarily will be appreciated. But I think in this crisis situation, if MPs unite behind a particular candidate and government is stabilised, I think a lot of Tory members will be quite understanding.